everybody. Welcome to the new episode of BizTech Talk, where we explore business and tech world by bringing you stories from insightful, young, and inspiring entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Jamal, and we're proud to be presented by Sincapp Mobi, a premier software development company. And today, in today's episode, we have the pleasure of speaking to Adil Yaqub, inspiring entrepreneur, the CEO of Balanced Male Grooming, e-commerce business that aims to help men to look and feel good. And besides his achievements in e-commerce business, he has a significant following in social media platforms like Instagram and TikTok. And today he will tell us about his journey from the start of his business to becoming influencer and his challenges and triumphs along the way. Without further ado, welcome Adil. Thank you very much for joining us. We're pleased to have you here.
Thank you very much for the kind introduction and your kind words.
You're welcome.
Just want to pause you there in terms of influencer. I'm not an influencer. I don't like to call myself an influencer.
Oh, okay.
I like to call myself a content creator.
Content creator.
Yeah,
all right.
so,
That's what we're gonna call you then.
Yeah. I don't like the term the influencer. It's because I guess it has bad connotations. I'm not influencing. I say the term influencer.
Yeah.
I see it as like a person who is just vlogging and just showing their daily life and that's not what Balance does, and that's not what I do. So I guess my style of creating content is just content creation.
Okay, content creation.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess influencer, they generally, as you said, like they influence people in general.
Yeah.
With different kinds of like maybe ideas.
Yeah,
or
of course.
like brands that they market different kinds of products. But as far as I understood, you use your blog, you use the social media platforms for your business, and you target only one very specific audience.
Yeah,
Is
that's
it
right.
Okay,
that's
so,
right. Yeah.
right.
So you can call me influencer, but I don't like to call myself influencer.
All right. Okay. So we're not going to call you influencer or content creator,
Yeah,
like
okay.
successful content creator.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So you can start from the beginning. When did you start your business?
Yeah.
And why did you start your business? I guess I remember you saying that you studied accounting.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I mean, ideally you were actually working, right?
Yeah, that's right. So,
yeah, but you then decided to start your business.
Yeah,
please.
yeah. So I'll take it right back to, I say, school. So sixth form, where it's year 12 and year 13 here in the UK. So it's about college days. So I was studying film and media. So I'll start from back then. So I have some experience in content creation at that age. So I went on to university and I studied business management accounting. So in 2012, that's when I started to study. I went there to obviously gain a degree. But at the same time, in the same year, I bought my first pair of clippers, and that's the haircut clippers. So that was the same year. I had this passion of grooming really at home. I think it stemmed from going to the barbers and waiting there, watching the barbers cut hair. I think that was really fascinating to me, and just the whole process of cutting hair. So in 2012, well, I was living in London, outside of Kent. So I was born and raised in Kent, and in the halls that we were staying at, I was cutting my friend's hair. So it then became a thing where I was the barber of the university halls, and essentially used to go to lectures, come home, cut hair. And then I graduated in 2015. Got my first corporate role in NHS, and then that's when I started my actual job in a barbershop as well. So in 2015, so I was working the corporate role, as well as on the weekends I was working in the barbershop. So I was working 7 days a week, and there was no rest at that time. And then at that point, I was working really, really well in the corporate world. So I got up to in the world of the Big Four. So I was working for Deloitte at that time.
Oh, I see.
And it was really then in, I think, 2017, 2018, where things started to pick up a lot in my head. So I always had this business mind. So there was a few failed ventures I used to sell online. E-commerce was really a big thing for me. So I used to sell tickets here and there. I used to do Amazon FBA, a lot of those things, but none of them really sustained.
Okay.
But all of that was again experience for what I have now. So it was at Deloitte that I really thought, you know what, I don't want to be standing behind a chair 24/7 cutting hair, and nor do I want to be in this rat race of, you know, this corporate world. And I was dealing with a client that had over 3 billion worth of assets, and meeting those, you know, high network people. It really gave me the exposure of, you know what, I can actually do something for myself and bring that world as well as my creative world together. Hence the name Balance. And that started in 2018, where I launched my own product line in men's grooming. So I didn't want to leave the whole men's grooming world. I didn't want to, that's my passion. That's my thing that I love to do. I just love making people feel good, as well as looking good, because it's more like a mental thing than it is for me. So helping people has been at the heart of the business. So yeah, in 2018, I did massive research of what product that I can launch, and that is it was 100% organic, and it still is 100%. At the time, there was no 100%. Now it's completely saturated. There's loads of competition now, hence why we've expanded our products. But yeah, in 2018 it started, and yeah, we're here today with the vision to make sure that we benefit people with beneficial products, as well as beneficial content that comes with it.
Yeah, thanks for sharing your story. Well, as many wise entrepreneurs do, you also took your experience and your passion and decided to merge it. Yeah. Well, as you said, you didn't want to spend your life cutting and standing on your feet and cutting all day, but at the same time, you love that you have that passion for making people look good and feel good, and found a way to influence that. That's an amazing story, I guess.
Thank you.
You have a very good reason for starting this business.
Yeah, there was a big gap in the market at that time, and we noticed that. And I guess we'll come on to it later on in this podcast. But at the time, there wasn't actually like video content to show people how to groom yourself at home, or how to use some products that were specifically for an Asian man or a person who has come from an ethnic background. So I think that was a market that I really wanted to target.
Okay. Well, yeah. And coming to your creative side, you said that you always enjoyed creating content, like from younger ages.
Yeah, that's right.
I would like to learn more about that.
Yeah, so when we were studying film and media, so it was one of those things where I don't know, there was something about it. It wasn't like a passion of mine, but I was something that I was really good at.
All right.
I was really good at capturing angles, understanding what works well and what doesn't work. But at the time of actually creating content, I didn't actually realize that I was good at it. So it was only up until about 3 years ago that when video started to do very well, that I realized, okay, so this is actually what I've studied, and I'm actually applying what I know into today's world. So yeah, I didn't know that at the time, but now I do.
Okay. So please tell us how you started your actually, let's say, more professional journey of content creation. And besides leveraging that side of yours for your business, do you enjoy doing it? And is there any other reason why you started doing it?
Yeah, it's a good question, actually. The main reason why I started doing it is because, like I said, there was a gap in the market where there wasn't a person that looked like myself in terms of complexion, Asian person who is able to show people how to groom themselves at home. So that was a gap in the market. There was other brands out there, but mainly for the white demographic. So I wanted to fill that gap. There was a time, I guess in 2018, where I just picked up the camera and I just started recording myself on how to groom my own beard. And the reason why I did that is not because of this ego thing where I wanted to show how I do it. It was actually to show other people how to do it themselves at home. So the initial intention is actually to educate people at home. And with that, we've built quite a big following through that, just to make sure that the people that don't have the fathers, people that don't have older brothers, and we get those comments a lot on our comment section, that we don't have a father, we don't have a brother, or someone to look up to actually give us these tips. And that's what I really want to do, I'm not saying that I'm their older brother, but there's people out there that really need some sort of guidance in terms of grooming themselves at home. So that was the gap that I saw. I really, like you said, like you asked that, do I enjoy it? I love it. I love content creation. I love just captivating and engaging a video, knowing that it's going to do very well. So there's videos that I create that are quite high quality.
Yes.
But there's some videos that are mid to low quality, but they all have a purpose. They all have a drive of education behind it. So there's always an intention behind it. There's never a video that I post that doesn't actually benefit the user. There's always something within a video for someone to take home and actually benefit from. So the actual main concept of my content creation is education as well as entertaining. So it's the 2 E's that I use: education and engagement.
Oh, nice. Wow. So of course, I mean, you must think about your content, because this is your, I guess, like the main asset driving your social media platform. I would say, how do you like manage or plan your content creation? And you said that every video that you share, everything that you post has some kind of message or educative part of it. So how do you plan it? For example, if I were to start, let's say, to start improving my social media platform, what are the important parts I should pay attention to?
Yeah, it's a good question. So what I do is I work my way backwards. So I first understand what the viewer wants and who my viewer is. So at the time I can see what's really working for on YouTube for those type of people. So then I identify that audience. Then I use the concept of ASMR to capture that audience. So ASMR is just the sounds of a shave or sounds of me picking up the clipper, stuff like that. And then the actual planning behind it is, okay, my first question is, what is the purpose behind this video? What is the intention behind this video? Is it for someone to knowing how to shave, or is it the person knowing how to apply the beard oil, how to, I say, spray the fragrance, where to spray the fragrance and stuff like that. So those kind of lessons can be answered in a few videos, but I have a content creation calendar.
Right.
So it goes from Monday to Sunday. There is a rest day at least once a week. That is my it should be. So Saturday is my rest day, but usually Mondays and Tuesdays I film. So Mondays and Tuesdays I film.
You prepare.
Yeah, I film and I go through the list, like I was saying, those lessons and answering those questions in those videos through video. So everything is non-verbal. I don't have a language in my videos. The reason why is because I can capture a wider audience. So the world doesn't speak one language.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's a language. Exactly. So that was an intention as well, to make sure that we can go mass viral and help as many people as we can all over the world, instead of just a person who's just speaking English. And you notice in some of my videos where I am speaking to the camera and those videos don't do well. I guess because the algorithm has put me into a niche of ASMR.
Probably.
So yeah, exactly. And that's another thing we can get onto in terms of the algorithm work and all of that. So yeah, content creation in terms of the calendar. So Monday and Tuesdays I film. It's basically at least 2 to 3 hours worth of filming. So that's at least, I say, 5 videos for the week. So then Tuesday, Wednesday is editing for myself. And then once I've edited and I know that they're good quality, so then the next week's the posting week, but I'm still filming and editing at the same time.
Of course.
So you have like for the next week. So then it carries on. Friday is like the engagement day. You go back to comments and answer them. There is a day that I do lives as well. So Instagram lives as well as, no, not Instagram lives, sorry, TikTok lives. Where it's, by the way, it's a great platform to do lives. Yeah, the engagement that you get there is second to none. You won't get that on Instagram. You won't get that on YouTube. So I definitely recommend that. But yeah, going live with the audience has been really useful for me. And then Sunday is pretty much just gathering up my thoughts, and whether not even my thoughts, my analytics, how the video has done, what works well and what doesn't work well. So in terms of how I plan it, that's the essentially the plan, just to make sure that I'm filming, editing, engaging, and then the analysis side of it as well. And also a break. A break is important.
Of course, important, right?
Yeah, that's why there's always a balance between content creation and as well as the the e-commerce.
Oh, that's actually great. I mean, you already know you have your routine, and that's why I guess I've seen a lot of, and I've heard a lot of, not complaints, I would say, but the situations when people start creating content, and of course to reach any kind of audience, you have to constantly create, and people generally after creating, for example, for a week, they tend to like stop because they either run out of ideas, or let's say they just don't know how to go on. And but with your routine, I guess you already have, of course it must help.
And I guess you touched on a very good point there, because consistency is very key within social media. And not only that, I just want to highlight that our following actually grew this year.
This year?
Yeah, so we started in 2018. Instagram, we were on 4,000 followers this year, and now we're on 130,000 followers within a few months.
Excuse me, you had how many followers this year?
Yeah, in January we had 4,000.
4,000?
Yeah, and then it just blew up.
Instagram, on Instagram,
so
you had 4,000 and now you have 130. Wow, that's, my question, my next question was, I was going to ask, I mean, how long did it take for you to reach these numbers?
So essentially, going back to the point of consistency, I made a big plan in my head at the start of the year that Instagram is going to be my main platform. I did it with TikTok. TikTok, we grew after lockdown. I can give you stats where TikTok, during lockdown, I think we grew an audience of around 60K within a year. And now we're on 300K, and that's after a few years. So it's just that consistency there. But then with Instagram, I find it very hard to find my target audience. But then I think something just clicked. I was like, you know what, I'm going to post 3 times a week. The content that I posted on TikTok, I'm gonna repost it on here, slightly tweak it a little bit, because I know that Instagram's algorithm is a bit different. So then I posted within the first week in January, the first 3 videos just blew up. I'm talking about 55 million views. I think the most viewed video is, I'm not sure if it's on YouTube or if it's on Instagram, it's 77 million views.
Wow.
And then every other video just started gaining traction. Hence why we picked up within, I think, 2.5 months, we got to 100K on Instagram.
Oh my God.
So again, it's consistency, just making sure that you post. But before that, I was posting before that as well. I wasn't as consistent.
You started in 2018, right?
So it's like, I go by this saying of, it takes 10 years to become an overnight success. So those 5 years I was working on, obviously it wasn't doing great, but then you'll get to a point where you start gaining traction and you start to see something. So don't ever stop. Carry on doing what you need to do, because it will come, and know that if you're producing quality content, you are going to do well. And it's just a matter of time as to when it is. So don't stop. Make sure you be consistent and carry on using your calendar.
That's really, I guess it's a great message actually. I mean, to actually see that, you may work on it you work like for years, let's say. And right now you, after having this kind of, I guess, results, you must be very, very content with it.
I am very content, but at the same time, there is always more to work on.
Of course.
YouTube is another side that we worked on as well. So we worked on that at the start of this year, in January, and again we got to 100K in 3 months.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
I know that in YouTube it is actually a little hard to get subscribers and viewers.
It is hard, and I'm not going to say it's the easiest thing. Again, it's something that we started just this year. I started the channel brand new from this year. I was like, I'm going to jump on YouTube to see whether there is any audience there. And the audience is a lot better than it is on TikTok. In terms of income, there's a lot of people that would comment positive things. TikTok, you get a lot of negative comments. YouTube, there's a community there, but from all over the world.
Of course.
They're like, it's crazy how many countries that I've reached, and I'm super, super grateful. But the actual channel itself has grown to, we're nearly on 150K. in just what month were we in? 6 months, yeah.
Wow, that's
So, yeah.
you see, I didn't know about YouTube, and it's great that you opened this up too as
Mm,
well,
mm,
because
yeah.
you know, I personally, I would need your, I guess, insights and strategy tricks
Yeah,
in
yeah.
YouTube, because we're also going to share, you know,
On
the
YouTube.
videos we're
Yeah.
gonna start, and I would be so grateful if you share.
Yeah, 100%.
How I mean, what did you do that work? What did you do, and what works the best?
Yeah. Okay, so on YouTube, and I guess this is consistent on all 3 platforms.
Okay.
The first thing, and I do presentations on this. I go out to universities to actually teach the students on how to create content. But the first thing is to create a very good hook. That hook within the first second of a video.
Okay.
So the first second, I'm not even saying second, maybe even 0.4 seconds.
Wow.
With 0.4 seconds of a video has to be engaging. It has to be something that is really intriguing to the mind as to pose a question as to what is this?
Okay.
Or I haven't seen this before. Wow, this is amazing. It needs to captivate the audience within the first second. If it doesn't have that, it's not going to do well.
Okay.
So that what the algorithm does is it tracks the watch time of a person. So if it's hooked a person in within the first second, and it's the person has carried on watching for the first 5 seconds, the actual algorithm will push it out to the people around that person, and then it will do it in the same way, and it will become a viral video in that way. So the first step is to always make sure your intention is to captivate the audience within the first second. The way that I do it is, I don't have anything to hand right now, but it's a spray can that I use.
Okay.
It's a disinfectant for my clippers, and I hold my clippers in the other hand, and I spray the clippers with the spray, and the sound of that just actually captivates the audience. It's just like, what's this?
So you
it's
use
like,
also the sound, of
Yeah,
course. So
yeah.
sounds are
Sounds.
very important in your videos.
yeah,
especially.
exactly. Yeah. So that in itself just questions as to what this person is doing.
Okay.
And then the whole process goes on from there. So the first thing is to create a hook. Second thing, when it comes to video creation and content creation, is to create a story behind it. So make sure there's a start, beginning, and an end. So the person goes through that journey and is kind of satisfied with the end result.
Oh, okay.
So, even if they're not happy with the end result, they will leave a comment to engage. Oh, I didn't like this video. What, there could have been a better ending. But even that is so good for the algorithm that it pushes. So regardless, just make sure that there's a start, middle, and an end, and to always, again, plan these things out as to what works well. Again, look at your analytics. I guess with yourself, it depends on the type of content that you're making. If it's podcast, in my experience, I'd make sure that there's good lighting.
Yes.
So lighting is very important. If there's the camera angles, make sure the camera angles are good. I know that you've got amazing lighting here, which is good. Tick box.
That's great. We're happy with that.
Yeah, the cameras angles are doing very well as well. So if you are looking at just short form content, it's just that first hook, and just having no silent bits in your videos. So make sure it's flowing. I'd say, because we live in a world where the person is their what's the word? The attention span is very, very short.
Yes.
So if there is a short period where there's nothing going on, they're just going to scroll through your video.
That's right.
They're going to scroll through, especially if it's not entertaining or if it's not educational. So they're just going to scroll through your video. So make sure that there is no part in there that you're not happy with, and there is a silent bit. So yeah, those are my 3 main tips. In terms of long form content, I can't say that I can give you the best tips, because I'm still to do that content. I feel like I have enough experience to pass on those tips.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there'd be tips going on in this conversation that I'll give if at the back I'll carry on.
Thank you very much. I mean, these are very important because, for example, I didn't know them. I didn't know these tips before, and it's definitely going to be very important for us. And because you see, in order to market our podcast, we will be using also shorts, and we'll be using in Reels and TikTok. So this is very important.
Just one thing come up in my mind, especially with the podcast: use captions. So I think those are main things. So I know that you have an audience in Turkey. Just make sure that it's in Turkish as well as English.
Okay.
That would be very, very good.
Well, we see. We haven't thought about that
Yeah.
either. Thank you very much.
No, you're welcome.
This is really this is very, very valuable for us. All right. Okay. So now that in this year you've reached over 100K followers on almost all of the platforms that you mentioned, how do you leverage your social media presence to your business? I mean, do you use your social media business to drive your e-commerce business, or do you keep them separate?
No, we definitely do drive that.
Okay.
We have a funnel into our website. The way that we do this, it started from the beginning. I think the intention for us, when I say us, is just me and the business. I just like to call the business as a separate person. So it's me and the business. So the intention behind it was to create trust between myself and the followers. So with that, we created not like a cult following, but a following that watches us on a daily basis.
Okay.
They're waiting for our videos, expecting something to come out and to actually be educated. So without even dropping the product, without even promoting the product in our videos, building trust within a brand is super, super important. As we did that, as we grew, when we did speak about a product, even if it's a product that is nothing to do with us, they take my word for it based on the previous videos. But that has, and I've always been really authentic in my videos. I never lied. I've never given a bad opinion. I've never even collaborated with another company knowing that it's not good for the business. I could easily take, there's so many deals that I've rejected purely because of the fact that it doesn't resonate with the business. But there was a lot of money on the table. But again, it's trust. As long as you're authentic, and it comes across in lives, it comes across in these videos that we put across. As long as you're authentic and you build that trust first, then that becomes a huge driver to any product that you sell. And whenever we launch a product, there's always an audience that's already established, and then we target that audience first, and then we go into the mass audience. So the videos that have gone viral recently, we then we see a way as to how to target them, and that is through just a link in bio, or just telling the people that we have just launched a new product. So first is the initial, I say smaller group of followers that we target through trust and authenticity, and then it's the mass by just making sure that a video goes viral. They know about the brand, and then they can go through the link in bio, the actual link within the video.
Oh, all right. Yeah, that's that's, I guess, I mean, trust and loyalty in personal branding must be a key. That's great. And you said that, for example, in Instagram and YouTube, you just this year managed to go to over 100K users. So how did it affect your business? I mean, you say, because it's before this year you had like 4,000, you said, right? 4,000 from 4,000 to 130K. It's, I mean, an amazing
huge.
leap. Amazing leap, you know.
Yeah, it is.
It's incredible. How did it affect your business and e-commerce business? Yeah, the
e-commerce business, it just blew. It sold out. It was really nice to see, but again, it was a good problem to have, because I didn't have stock to sell to the people that wanted to buy.
All right.
So it put me in a really tough position where then I had to reorder. But a lot of these, because a lot of my products have a lot of research into it, that it's not easy to actually restock. So for example, the fragrances that we make, they're actually handmade. So to actually restock it, it takes a lot longer. It takes time. So let's say our bestseller is the Balance No. 4 perfume. That perfume in itself takes about 3 to 4 months to actually make. So I wasn't expecting these videos to go viral. So then when I put in an order for a new batch, there was a big wait that because there's a lot of maturing that needs to go on for the smell to come through. And we have an amazing perfumer, and he's in Malaysia at the moment.
Malaysia.
Yeah, Malaysia. So we actually went out to Malaysia to actually meet him to set up that whole process as well. That's another story.
Okay, we'll go into this.
Yeah, in terms of how it affected the e-commerce brand, it was overwhelming, and I couldn't do it myself. It was, again, had a lot of help from family and friends to go through that, and luckily we're in a position now where we're selling the stock that we do.
Oh,
We've
that's
now
great.
maintained.
Oh, that's good. That's great. I mean, of course, it must. You see, when some changes come and you understand that there might be a problem. For example, you've never before encountered with problem like supply.
Yeah.
And now you've had this.
Yes.
And now you know how to do this. Yeah, it's
a good experience to have.
exactly.
Yeah,
it's
so
an amazing experience.
Actually, I actually remember very vividly. So we do pop-ups in department stores. So we were in John Lewis last year, and we were doing this pop-up. And a video, while we're doing these physical pop-ups, we're still selling online.
Okay.
So a video that I did went viral. I wasn't expecting it to go viral, but it went super viral. So I was in a predicament of the product that actually was being bought was being sold at the physical location, but I had to use that for the sales online. So I couldn't sell it physically. I had to sell it for my online, but yeah, so it actually got sold out, but not actually physically in the store. It actually got sold out online. So then we had to pivot our way into making sure that, okay, whatever we're selling in the store, we have enough stock, and that is a separate stock. So again, it's a lesson learned. But yeah, I remember very vividly that we sold our beard oil at a pop-up, but it wasn't intentional. So yeah, it can happen, and it's a very good problem to have. But yeah, it's something that we definitely have learned going forward.
All right, that's great. Well, you see, blogging and content creation part is so different from actually e-commerce, because there is a product that you get it produced, you get it shipped, and then of course you sell and ship them out. And there's a lot of work in it. I mean, how do you manage these two businesses, and besides that, of course, personal life, family and stuff?
I think that's a very good question, and I'm glad that you asked that, because a lot of people think that it's super easy. Content creation is just one part of the business, and managing the day-to-day part of the operation of the business is the main bit. So that part there is super hard to even just balance. Hence why the reason why I named this whole thing balance, because myself, I'm always striving to find the middle ground of everything. Just trying in every situation that you're in. For example, it can never be too hot, too cold. It has to be warm for us to have, for example. And I always use this analogy in my head. I've never heard it before, but I always go back to this analogy. But driving a manual car, in order for the car to go forward, the clutch has to be down, and you've got to find the biting point. And only when the car goes forward within the middle, once you find that
balance, there is a balance, it goes.
It goes. Always thinking of that analogy. So balancing that is super hard. But the way that I do it is crazy. Sometimes I don't sleep. Sometimes I have to answer queries that are really late at night, because our customers are in the US, so content creation is a really small part for the business. The day-to-day operations, the shipping, the packing, everything to do with that side of customer service, everything, the finances is the main aspect of the business. And I feel like people really disregard that, and they think that it's super easy and it doesn't take a lot of time. But that part of that, for me, I don't have an answer as to how I manage it, but I just manage it. It's just one of those things where I'm always on the go. I can't sit still. I'm always doing something.
Because otherwise it's not gonna happen, I guess.
Exactly.
Especially this year, probably once the number of followers grew and the volume of your business increased, I guess it must also have it must demand more of your attention and time.
Exactly. And it definitely does, because and at the moment I'm still in this corporate world where I'm still an analyst, so my background is in analysis. So I'm still working that, but at the same time I'm still working on this business that I'm working on at the moment. Even with that, I'm still striving to find a balance. So yeah, it's super hard, but we'll get there in the end.
Okay, wow, I didn't know that. Actually, you did mention, I guess, that you're still working, right, as analyst. But I mean, managing your e-commerce business, which actually requires really operational stuff like packaging and sending out, shipping and getting shipments. You must be very busy.
Very busy, and I wish I had a team.
Yeah.
I am super grateful to my wife to do the postal orders and all of that. So I do have that kind of backing, but
Yeah.
as it is just myself, hopefully we start a bigger team once the business grows and develops.
All right, I see. At the start, for example, if anybody would want to start an e-commerce business, where should they start? For example, you said that you get your products produced outside of UK,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
that's
you
right.
have to get them shipped here.
Yeah,
And there are like customs involved. And
yeah,
stuff.
of course, yeah.
So, what do you think would be like very simple recommendations for those who would like to start e-commerce business?
Yeah, I think the very first thing I advise is to source the product in the UK.
Okay. Yeah,
to save all that cost.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess the first thing is to identify the product, whether that product has actually a gap in the market or serves something for the actual consumer. So make sure it's beneficial. That's the first thing. Second thing is, if you are going to source outside of the UK, make sure you actually physically go there and actually understand the process of how the product. You want to be the eyes, ears, and everything of the business within the product. So imagine the product is your driver, right? So you want to know everything to do with that. So if you are sourcing outside, make sure you go visit that country, go visit how it's even made, because you will find a lot of gems even just speaking to the local people there as to why. I'll give you a great example. Our beard oil is from Morocco and it's 100% organic argan oil.
Okay, so you get your product produced in Morocco.
Morocco, yeah. So
for the
beard, yeah.
For the beard. All right.
So the reason why we ventured out there is a huge shout out to his name's Sheikh Taha. He actually gave me the advice before I even started the business, where he said, if you are going to do something, make sure you know everything about it. Make sure you go. So when I visited the country, you actually find the reason why the argan nut is actually produced in only one part of the world, and you actually get to talk to the locals as to how they use that product themselves. And not only that, you'll get this byproduct of knowledge that you didn't expect to have without even purchasing anything. So that knowledge just comes with the traveling. So that's my second thing, actually going out there, meeting people and understanding the product as to whether it is actually good for you or whether there's any other product that you can actually get out from that country. Third thing is the marketing side of it. Making sure that you have a plan as to how you market your product, because it's all well and good as to say, oh yeah, this is 100% organic argan oil, but how are you going to really get this argan oil produced into a nice little bottle and then marketed? Even the packaging of a bottle is marketing in itself. So make sure that is 10 out of 10. Make sure you've got budget for that. Make sure that whatever content you make for the product is 10 out of 10 and it's 100% quality, and that you're super, super happy with it before it's even posted. So I'd say spend at least 6 to 12 months just researching.
Oh, wow.
So
that's quite a work.
Yeah. So again, there is quick wins.
Yeah.
There is the long-term wins. I guess for us, it's been the long-term that has really paid off.
All right.
The quick wins are going to give you the quick money, but you're going to spend it just as quick as you've earned it.
Okay.
So for example, the Amazon FBA stuff that I used to do, I used to buy and sell toys.
All right.
They were really quick wins. Again, it was a failed project, but the reason why I failed is because Amazon banned the account.
Really?
Yeah.
So what was the reason? Sorry if you
No.
don't mind asking.
I'm happy to disclose, but I was doing very well in the toy section of Amazon. So I used to buy actually from a toy store. I used to scan the barcode and I used to resell it online. But the markup was over 100%. So I used to make sure that whatever I'm making is good enough for me to sell online. So there was one product that was for racing cars, Hot Wheels. I used to sell a part of the track. I used to sell that. I was doing very, very well. I used to make a lot of money from that. And then I did other toys, and there was one toy, the Toy Story toy. It was a bear, and it was doing very well, very, very well, until Amazon picked up on it. Amazon actually saw that my product was doing very well, but it was a new listing, but I was selling. Once they did that, they made their own listing of the same product.
Oh, right. They do that. I know that.
Yes.
Yeah, they
so
do it.
So they did that. But then I was cheeky and I was young at the time. I sent my product into that listing. You can do that through Amazon FBA. So you can actually go into that listing.
Okay.
You can use their barcode. And I used to send my product into that listing. As soon as it got to the warehouse,
Okay.
they banned my account. I'm not allowed to sell on Amazon no more. So till this day, I still have money within Amazon that I can't retrieve. Yeah. So yeah, they banned my account. But again, it goes back to the quick wins. If like it was a really quick win for me to make money, and I was making a lot of money. But it was short-lived because it wasn't my product. It wasn't something that I can have full ownership to.
Okay.
And even with the products that we're selling, we wanted to sell online on Amazon. They have a barrier to entry there because they wanted to know where the source was. So, and that was the reason why I don't sell on Amazon. I know how ruthless they've been with me in the previous business that I had. So I didn't want to disclose where the source is because they're going to go to the source and make the product.
They can make the product if it goes really well.
Yeah.
Oh, you see, I've heard some stories about that kind of strategy of Amazon when any item that goes well, they start selling it themselves.
Yeah.
And you can't compete with Amazon. You can't compete with their resources.
Yeah, 100%.
And they can sell in whatever price they like.
Exactly.
So that to outsell yourself.
Exactly.
And
it's very well known.
I've heard like disappointing stories from some other people, but I've never heard it like from directly from a person who did this. And it must be really disappointing.
Yeah, it was disappointing, but again, it's a learning curve, and it made me realize, you know what? If I were to sell something, it has to be something of myself that I know full well.
Okay.
So these things never happen. So yeah, that's why again, Bandit Smell Grooming started with products that are beneficial and that I have full ownership of. Supply chain to.
Wow. All right. That's incredible. You see, we always ask our guests about if they had any other businesses that didn't go as well as they hoped or that failed actually, because I guess, as you said, for example, from Amazon, you learn quite a lot.
Yeah.
I guess you picked up on how to market maybe and how to run like e-commerce business. It's also an e-commerce business. And how to like get the products and get the products that may sell. So it may. I'm sure that you learned a lot from this, from that experience.
Definitely, and I'd say now, the person who is trying to get into e-commerce, and this is a huge tip that is brand new to 2024. TikTok have based their platform of e-commerce on Amazon. So everything to do with TikTok has come from Amazon's back end. So even the way that you sell a product, we're now selling on TikTok. It's the exact same how I used to sell on it.
Wow.
So I have a TikTok manager. They assign you a manager if you get to a certain amount of followers. So the manager has actually asked myself directly as to how I used to sell on Amazon FBA.
Okay.
I've given them the tips because TikTok have been amazing to me and my business. So if you are going to launch an e-commerce brand, make sure you're on TikTok and make sure you're on TikTok Live. So TikTok Shop is the place to be, and that is the future.
Oh yeah, that's an amazing tip.
Yeah.
And as you said, it's brand new. So well, TikTok, and you see, I guess like selling over TikTok is also very popular, and it reaches to like new audiences very quickly. Massively, and it's a very good place to introduce your products.
Yeah, definitely. It is. I've seen brands go super viral, sell out. There's actually an account that goes live 24/7.
And always introduces the product.
Could do it. There's an account out there that has really they've done really well. I think there was an account that I came across. They're doing at least 1 million in sales within the first 3 months of TikTok.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's a great way to start an e-commerce business actually, I guess.
100%.
And it is, you see, it costs nothing to market there. You just create content.
That's it. All you need is a good camera.
That's it.
Yeah, everyone's got a good camera these days.
Yeah.
And if you don't, just pick up one. It's really simple, and just create really super engaging content. And that is where the future is.
Nice.
In terms of like even when you go onto Amazon now, what do you want? You don't want to see a picture. You want to see how the product is being used on a video.
Yeah,
you can click on it. And now they've got videos on
they
Amazon.
added, you can
but
see
TikTok
the video.
has done it the opposite. So it was a video app.
Yeah.
Now it's a shop app where all the videos are all about selling products. So it's very good.
Oh, nice. That's amazing. Thank you for the tip as
No,
well, because I didn't know that, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, that's great.
You're welcome.
And you mentioned this, your Amazon business, and did you have any other businesses that you think, that didn't go well, and can you
they were never official businesses. They were, I say, side hustles. They were just, while I was at university, they're just keeping an extra income. So I was buying and selling sports tickets. But I was very, very hot on it. So as soon as an event was coming, I used to buy the ticket there, and I don't know how I used to buy the ticket at cost price and then sell it for a markup. Then I also went into a business of selling phone cases. I thought I had the best idea in the world where I can sell phone cases. They were really nice phone cases, imported from China. But it didn't do well at all. I was left with so much stock.
Oh,
And my
really?
mum and dad, I was like, yeah, this one has completely failed. So I ended up just selling it to a person who sells iPhone cases in London. So yeah, that fell down very, very hard. But again, lesson learned.
Yeah.
So yeah, there were my three main businesses. So the Amazon, the phone cases, and the ticket sales. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay, well, but I wouldn't say that you failed actually on Amazon, because there were like circumstances that you couldn't control, and in a ticket, I guess, in ticket selling, you just stopped doing yourself.
Yeah, it's just basically there was another barrier to entry there, because the actual platform that you resell on, you're not allowed to resell it on. So that I guess the platform has now gone bust or something. But again, for me, I think it was more of a realization that what I'm doing is kind of
that you didn't really like
sit
sit
well.
right?
It's not
you
a good thing.
didn't feel good about this.
Yeah. It's not something that I'm really happy
You're
to
gonna
make money
do.
from.
Yeah, exactly. So
I guess I was really young at the time as well.
Yeah.
So it's just that realization. Okay, I'm not doing something beneficial for someone. So yeah, I'm actually taking advantage of someone, really.
Yeah.
So,
And well, but now after realizing all that, you've built your own brand, you've built your personal brand, and you have a product that you are in control of the whole chain from start to finish. And that's great. And how many you started in 2018?
Yeah, that's right. At the end of December 2018.
2018. Okay, nice, very good. So in e-commerce, what do you think what would you say are the biggest challenges in running e-commerce business?
I'd say the first thing for me personally was the website, making sure that the website is user friendly. I have no knowledge about building a website, and luckily the mentor that I have, he was a graphic designer, so he actually built my website from scratch.
Wow.
So that was a big help. So if you know anyone out there, build your website to a good degree, which is where your business comes in. That can actually build websites. If you go onto their platform, I'm sure that, or reach out to these guys, I'm sure that they can help. But yeah, the main thing was websites, making sure that wherever they click is going to the right section. Sometimes it wasn't the greatest, it wasn't the most user friendly. So I guess that was quite hard for me. What was the question again?
Challenges, like the biggest challenges of e-commerce business.
Yeah, I guess now, even still till this day, it's the challenge of making sure that my followers are going through my website to purchase. It's just funneling that into a purchase. So someone who is a viewer challenged or changed something for them to become an actual customer. So that
like conversion.
Again, it's conversion of someone who comes on to your, because we see, by the way, if you're not a business owner, every business owner sees how many people are viewing your website. And if you're not getting those sales and they're not matching the amount of people that are viewing, then there's something wrong with the business. And for us, again, there's something that we definitely need to work on. There's always a gap, but we're trying to lessen the gap, basically. In terms of anything else with e-commerce, I guess it's time as well of the stock. I'd say the supply and demand really was up and down again, like with viral videos. So like I said, there's stock that just completely ran out, and again, I wasn't aware of anything before a video was going to go viral, because no one knows. But again, it put me in a position where, okay, if a product is less than 500 or less than 200, I need to make a reorder, because I know
see.
I need
Of course,
to.
you're gonna, because you already planned.
Exactly, yeah.
Right.
So that was a big challenge for me myself. So yeah, I'd say those are the biggest challenges still are.
Okay, I see. Thank you very much
No,
for
you're
sharing that. I guess I would like to go into this, personal branding topic a little bit. Did you, when you were just starting your blog, did you already have in mind how you want to build this, and like the vision of your, did you have the vision of your like personal brand,
Yeah.
or did it somehow naturally established over time? And what are the, I guess, the must do and don'ts in building your, establishing your personal brand?
It was very organic for me.
Oh, okay.
I never once thought that I'd be the face of the brand.
All right.
And I didn't want, but I knew that for me to actually benefit someone, I have to be in front of the camera. In this day and age, I feel like people resonate with people. People buy from people. So I knew that, but whether the business becomes a personal brand, I didn't know that part. But so it became organic, and it's kind of put me in a really sticky position where if I were to put someone else in front of the camera, it won't have the same effect. And I'm not saying this in a really egotistical way. It's not that at all. It's just the brand that I've built. I've put myself in such a corner.
Yeah.
Where I'm so used to seeing my face to the brand that if I put someone else there, they can't really relate that brand to Balance anymore. But again, that's something that I can change later on. I can obviously, with repetition with the same person, I can change that. But yeah, it's very organic. I ended up being the face of the brand, providing the knowledge of Balance. And for me, I felt like I was the right person to do that because of the knowledge that I had.
Probably, of course.
From cutting hair, from the world of business anyway. I was the right person to do that. And again, if you are just starting a business, make sure you are the subject matter expert. Make sure that you're the SME
Expert.
of your business, and that you know the ins and outs of it. So yeah, I think with that, your second part to the question was,
like, what would you say, like, must do's and don'ts in building your establishment?
Yeah, must do's and don'ts. I say the must don'ts. Don't go out of your niche.
Oh, don't go out of your niche.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's the main thing, because there's two reasons for that. One, personally, as soon as you, like, for example, if I were to now talk about cars,
All right.
I've lost an audience now. And now not only does that question my current audience, but it's like, okay, this person has no idea about cars. He's a person to give me advice on my beard and my hair and how to look good. What's he got to do anything about cars?
Oh, okay.
So that poses a question there. The second thing there is the actual algorithm itself on social media. It kicks you out. So that video that you would do on cars, for example, for myself, it won't go viral. It won't go anywhere. So it'll be a waste of your time to even talk about something that's not to do with you. So make sure that you stay in your lane. Within your industry. So, and I say this with respect to some people, because I know that some people they love to talk about everything. That's why the term influencer. Your influencer is like a person in this day and age in the UK. They talk about everything and they sell anything and everything. That's why I don't like to call myself an influencer. I like to call it within the brand. But yeah, it's to stay within your lane. You should only talk about the knowledge that you have. If you talk about something that you don't actually have knowledge of, it drives your audience away. And makes again, it's all about authenticity. It comes across in every video that you do, especially if you're doing a live. If you're doing a live, you actually are your natural self, right? You're not going to change that personality. You may put on an act a little bit, but when you're live, you may even do a little scratch here and there. Even those little things, as long as you're authentic with yourself and you're happy with yourself, that thing would then resonate with other people and you capture people's hearts. And I think it goes back to the must-dos. Make sure that you're speaking from the heart, whatever you do, because speaking from the heart captivates another heart. That's something that I always live by. And again, it goes back to, I used to volunteer for a charity, and that was the main moral of that charity, is to, whenever you're speaking to someone who you're fundraising for, you're trying to gain a donation from, is to always speak from the heart, because that would start for them to then give and donate. And not only that, it gives you attention. So that was a must do. Make sure you're authentic through speaking the truth and speaking from. So yeah, a must. Don't ever come out of your knowledge that you don't have. A must do, always be authentic.
All right, that's great. Thank you very much for sharing. It's amazing. I guess one last, of course, you see, we always cover this part because it's very, very popular at the moment. See the rise of AI. So there are so many contents and I guess influencers and bloggers that utilize AI in their blogs at the moment. And did you try doing it, or are you using it? And if you are, how are you incorporating it into your blog or business?
Yeah. So yes, but very minimal. I guess the only part of it I'm using is actually creating captions. Just explaining the product or part of the business, things to do with actual writing itself, copywriting and stuff like that. So we do actually have a Patreon, so where we're producing content through that, and part of that is the use of AI, but it's not the best. Otherwise, the actual essence of my knowledge doesn't come into play. So I actually add a bit into the Patreon page that we have. But in terms of AI, in terms of images, we do use that on Instagram, just to change the background here and there. So that's something that is coming into play. But however, it's not for me. I've not seen it work to the greatest. haven't seen it to work at its best yet. I think there's a lot more to come from AI. It's ever changing, it's ever growing. With video creation, I've not used it. I'm not sure if there is something out there that can actually help with that, but as my stuff is pretty much me in front of the camera, in front of a blank wall, there's not much AI that I can use. So yeah, I don't really want to use AI in those kind of scenarios as well. So I don't want to lose that, I wouldn't say fakeness. I don't want to use something that is not really there.
That is not really there. Yeah, that's I guess the most important part.
Yeah.
I guess you just want to show what your product is and how you do.
Exactly.
In reality.
Exactly.
All right, that's great. Okay, well, but in terms of, I guess, caption and text, the AI must be very helpful.
Yeah, it's very, very helpful. Yeah, I think it's the way forward. I think now it's always on the go. I know they say it's cheating, but I don't see the tool that you have.
Of course. We always create tools to make our lives better.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. And this is making our lives easier and better and faster. So yeah, why not?
Exactly.
That's great. All right, now my last question is about your, I guess, the vision and the plans for the future of your brand and personal brand. In the last 5 years, for example, your blog grew in a way that you never expected, because you said like for 4 years you went on and it was okay. Yeah, you had some followers, but this year it blew up in a way that, as you said, surprised you. And where do you see your personal brand and balance going in the near future, in 5 years?
I think right now, I'd say with the use of personal branding on TikTok, I think that is the main aim for me. I think as long as I've put my focus onto TikTok this year, as well as YouTube, but TikTok Shop in itself, because that is intertwining the personal brand with the e-commerce brand, like we were saying. So that in itself would help the brand in itself. So I think in 1 or 2 years, I just want, I say a warehouse full of product, a massive range of products as well.
Okay.
So I want to expand my products.
Of course.
But with the use of TikTok Shop to expand that. Not only that, I'd say now next week we're going to be in John Lewis again. We're doing a pop-up again. If we can get picked up by a major retailer with these products, that will be a huge goal to be ticked off on my list.
Of course.
So again, with that side, with the product side of it, if we can be picked up by a major retailer.
Yeah, like
that,
John Lewis.
Yeah.
Boots, I guess, for ladies.
Yeah, exactly. Boots is unisex as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
unisex as well. Okay, great.
So,
yeah, that would be
and that's a good question, a good point actually that you just raised, that our latest product is actually unisex. The reason being is because this is where my analysis side comes out.
All right.
That most of my viewers were men until the last year. The last year it grew to like 30% women.
Oh,
so
30%
women.
Yeah.
Wow. So then, okay, so I've got
a new audience.
Yeah, I've got a new audience here. How do I capture this audience and funnel them? So that's why we created this balance number 4, which is now the bestseller.
Really?
Yeah, which is the fragrance, which is the bestseller.
Wow, you have like completely new product and completely new niche actually, right?
Yeah. So again, it's like you said, it's about pivoting and making sure you adapt to your audience. So we went into the unisex, and now hopefully it's not just going to be a men's grooming brand, but something that is for everyone within the next 5 years. So yeah, in terms of the personal branding, TikTok shop is where I'm going to be mostly at. Within everything else, I'll hopefully be picked up by a major retailer or major retailers.
Okay, yeah, that's great. Well, hopefully we will see balance in like major retailers like Boots and John Lewis, and of course we will be following you. We are following you on social media, and it's actually, you see, what I found in your videos, it's a little meditating. It has this effect, like meditating effect. You can just see, watch it, and it's so calm. And it has some interesting sounds at the back, and you can just, it just drives you. You can watch. Oh, okay. Well, it doesn't give you, it doesn't have the effect like the entertaining videos or like breaking news kind of videos. No, but it's it's calming. You can just go on and watch the next. It's interesting. That's what the effect that gave me actually.
That's actually a very common feedback that I get. Whenever I meet someone, which I have the fortune to do that.
All right.
They actually give me it's amazing. They say I fall asleep to your videos, which is concerning, but at the same time,
because it calms you down. It calms you down.
I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. The sounds. That's why, again, for me, I feel like the sounds of shaving is so satisfying. Like I said, it has to be from a process of start, middle, and end. That's fine at the same time, because that's why there was a massive audience of women that actually came across, because they're watching my videos as just to satisfy them. Just for the sake of watching, and I guess, as I said, like calming down. Yeah, exactly.
Because normally you see all these binge watching or just screen time. Yeah. This kind of agitates you sometimes.
Yeah, I know.
Most of the time, after like watching for 10 or 20 minutes, sometimes half an hour or an hour, because you don't understand how the time passes. You feel kind of, I don't know, but I understood. I sometimes noticed that after watching this, I have some kind of, adrenaline going in myself. Yeah. But your videos have like the opposite effect.
Which is good. And saying that, TikTok generally, the actual stat is that 79% of people leave the app. So that's actually factual from their point of view. So there's actually most of the videos that actually are on TikTok are actually there to make someone happy, calm, all of these emotions that you experience during watching the video. So and I guess on other platforms it's not so much. I guess they're TikTok's main thing, and I'm not advocating for TikTok right now, but it's been very, very good in balance. It's been a monumental part of growing us, so that's why I'm sharing these tips. So again, it's a huge part of making sure that the person, whoever's watching, is leaving happy in all of these.
That's great. Thank you for sharing so many, I guess, valuable tips and actually, let's say, practical tips that can be followed, that can be taken into action. And thank you for your time.
No, thank you.
It was incredible.
No, thank you for these questions.
I had a great time talking to you.
Yeah, I had a great time as well. Right. And there's plenty more tips. If you guys just want to reach out, just send me a DM.
Of course.
And I'm happy to help.
Yeah, we will add links to your platform in the down below. You can find it. Thank you so much for your time.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, hopefully listeners also will enjoy our conversation.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Thanks again.